Okay, so before getting started, I just wanted to let you know that all of Dr. Winston's videos will be coming from his books, with the majority of his content coming from the book that Microsoft asked him to write. His 2019 Data Analysis and Business Modeling book. This is Microsoft's best-selling Excel book in the world, and you can see here, based on the reviews, that it's an extremely popular book. Dr. Winston's Marketing Analytics book covers all things marketing analytics and has been one of the best-selling books on the topics, as you can see here also by the 105 reviews. Finally, his Analytics Stories book covers real-world problems and he solves them using Excel. It is his newest book, but has perfect reviews thus far. So why am I telling you all of this? First of all, if you just watch all of the content, you will be getting a world-class education. Dr. Winston created the Excel course for Harvard, and virtually every business school in the world uses his books. If you go into the description below, there will be links to download the before and the after Excel files. No email is required, they're direct download links, and downloading the file will help you follow along. Also, if you like the content, then like, comment, and subscribe. This will help you be notified in the future, and it really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. It'll help students like you to see new content. Finally, please ask questions. Just leave a comment with your questions and we'll try to help answer. We really want you to learn and understand the content of these videos. With all that being said, let's get started.
Let's continue with our discussion of forecasting the daily customer count at the Indiana University Credit Union during, let's say, 1992. So let's look at the outliers here highlighted in yellow. January 3rd, way more people came than expected. February 2nd, way more people came than expected. March 2nd, way more people. You see the pattern, the first 3 days of the month, it appears that lots more people came than expected. April 2nd. Okay, now May 11th, that's the day after graduation. I think that's why people left town. That's why nobody came. Look at June 1st. Tons more people came than expected. Beginning of the month. July 2nd, before 4th of July weekend. Okay, lots more people came than expected beginning of the month. August 1st. You can see the beginning of the month is causing a lot of people to show up. Now Labor Day is different than most holidays. You see the day before Labor Day, a lot less people went to the bank. Probably they took vacation then. And then the day after Labor Day, they were broke, they came to the bank. September 18th, maybe it poured rain, I don't know. November 1st, beginning of the month. Okay. Then we have the day before Thanksgiving. Now Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, people are leaving town. They need the money. The day after Thanksgiving, they're still gone. They won't be back at the bank. Okay, December 3rd, again, beginning of the month, busy. Christmas Eve, too late to go to the bank. They're probably not open that long anyway. December 28th, nobody goes to the bank. I mean, nobody has any money left. So how can we modify our model to include what we've learned from these outliers? Let's go to the sheet first 3 days. Okay, so what we do is we add a changing cell for the first 3 days of the month, if it's one of those days, and then basically incorporate that in our forecast. And also spring break, okay, I know that's a time when we're not that busy. So I had a variable for the day before spring break, people leave town. Okay, that's 029. And then when they come back from spring break, okay, our town is more deserted during spring break than during Christmas vacation. Then we added basically the day we come back from spring break there. We added a variable for that. Okay, we did that manually. Okay, so we can see here or the week of spring break, I'm sorry. The day before spring break, we added a variable. And then the week of spring break, we're really not very crowded. So basically, you can see I added 030 during the spring break week, not the day we came back. Okay, to indicate the fact that less people came than expected during the spring break week. Okay, so now the forecast equation, except for that spring break change, okay, the forecast is we have, it's the first day of the month, C4 is 1. We add the day 1 of the month variable. If it's the second day of the month, we add the second day of the month variable. It's third day of the month, we add the third day of the month variable. So now we would run the solver. Okay. Just add those as changing cells, minimize the squared errors, and things are a lot better. R squared has gone to 87% from 77%. The standard error has dropped from, I think, 160 something to 122, which is basically our standard deviation of errors has dropped by 25%. Okay, so now we can look at the outliers again using the same formatting. So January 3rd and 4th, way more people showed up. Probably they were hungover from January 2nd or came back later, so they were busy because of that. January 29th probably snowed or something, ice storm. But notice we have not too many outliers now. April 12th, that's basically the day before Good Friday, okay? And people would leave town for Easter in our town. So that's why that was busy. I call that Good Thursday, day before Good Friday. See, there's not many outliers now. Okay, that first few days of the month, putting that in helped a lot. Okay, day before Labor Day, okay, the day before Labor Day wasn't busy. The day after Labor Day, way busier. That's a sort of different type of holiday. People were away a long time. So we should probably model Labor Day different than the other holidays. Okay, still don't know about September 18th. Okay, day before Thanksgiving, really busy. People need money to leave town. Day after Thanksgiving, they're not back yet, so it's not like a normal holiday. Okay, the last day of November, faculty payday, people need that money for Christmas. They're going to start their shopping. Okay, now December 19th here, okay, really busy again. We're in the Christmas season. Okay, December 24th, not busy. Then between Christmas and New Year's, people are out of town. They don't have any money left. So how can we incorporate what we found out here in the next worksheet? Well, there's a couple of ways. We can add the variables for the Thanksgiving, the Good Thursday, and the Labor Day, and we'll do that. But then just because you're not two standard deviations away from the mean, there could be something unusual going on. Look at the signs of the errors. Half the time errors should be positive, half the time negative. So you shouldn't see, let's say, 6 errors in a row that are the same sign unless something's going on. That's pretty rare. Okay, so if we look right here, okay, we've got 7 days in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 days in a row where actual customer count was below our forecast. That's probably people were taking vacation. I'll call that a summer fling before the summer ends. And then if we look right before the week before Christmas, not surprisingly, way more people show up than we thought by our model here. So those days before Christmas, 1, 2, 3, 6, we have huge excesses of people showing up relative to our model. I mean, over 1 standard deviation. Chance of being more than 1 standard deviation away from the mean is about 16%. So this is like 1 chance in 6 happening 6 times in a row. We need to put in a variable for that. And then the week of Christmas Eve and after, almost nobody came. We need to put in a variable for that. Okay, so now I manually did this fix here. Okay, so I added the variables that are in blue in the next worksheet. Christmas week, which is the week between Christmas and New Year's, I manually put in this cell in the forecast for those days. The week before Christmas, I manually put in this cell in those days. The day before Thanksgiving, I put in a variable for that, took out the holiday variable. Day after Thanksgiving, variable for after Thanksgiving. Now with only 1 year of data, this isn't going to be that accurate on the Thanksgiving and Labor Day things. Good Thursday, I put in a variable for the day before Good Friday. Then for the day tax returns were due, I put in a variable. That summer fling week, I put in a week or two, I put in a variable. Day before Labor Day, day after Labor Day, I manually changed those formulas to take out the holiday variables and put in special variables for Labor Day. Okay, now what I did here is run the solver, adding those new changing cells. See, we go down to 039 now, which includes through the bottom here, I believe. Okay, and now our R squared is 92%. Remember, we were at 77%. Standard error is below 100, 96. 95% of our forecast should be accurate within 190 out of over 1,000. Now we can look for outliers here. Okay, again, that right after New Year's, I could put something in for people coming back a little bit late after New Year's. This was probably a day that it snowed. That's probably a day that it snowed. I don't have the weather. That's probably another day that it snowed or ice storm, just bad weather. Now I see very few outliers. Okay, May 7th was basically right before graduation. People are probably closing out their accounts. And then May 15th, people are coming in for summer session, I guess. Again, I didn't handle these. June 4th, really busy. And that could be, again, yeah, that's only the second weekday of the month because second and third was a weekend, so that should probably count maybe as a day 3 of the month. But again, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, June 29th, really busy. People are probably, that's a Friday. People are probably getting ready to take 4th of July week off because they get that extra day. Take a long summer vacation. And then basically August 31st, okay, we still have not dealt with that Labor Day holiday as well. The day before now, way more people showed up than we thought. So that didn't. September 18th, still nobody showed up. Must have poured rain. Okay. Now, September 28th, which is a Friday, a staff payday. I don't know why that was busier than average, but we don't have too many outliers. I mean, 250 days they're open basically, and there's one November 30th, still really busy. I could have put in something for Christmas season, but we don't. 5% of our data points by chance should be outliers. That'd be 12 days or so. And I mean, I could count how many we have there, but it doesn't look like it's much more than 12. So we've got a much better forecast here. And now, how do you check if you sort of have too many not enough changes in sign? Like we said, it was bad to have a lot of negative errors in a row, a lot of positive errors. Turns out if you take the number of observations minus 1 divided by 2 minus the square root of the number of observations, if you're below that number, you have too few sign changes. And that's something called autocorrelation, which we may not get into in a later video. But we found 119 sign changes when this cutoff's 110. How do you tell if there's a sign change? You do an if statement. Okay, if the product of two errors is less than 0, there was a sign change. Okay, minus the plus or plus the minus. So here there's not a sign change, not a sign change. You could see, do you have any place where there's 6 in a row where the sign doesn't change? It doesn't appear that we have any of those since we've sort of corrected for that. Oh, here's one maybe. That's 5 in a row. I mean, I could track this, but I don't think there's any 6 days in a row where we had no sign change. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with this model. I would really like to have more than 1 year of data, and I could try and model trends, but we've explained 92% of the variation in basically the customer count at the bank that year. Maybe we've sort of overfit the model, but I think most of our variables make sense. So we can see the week before Christmas really depressed. The week after Christmas, we lost about 30% of our business. The week before Christmas, we went up about 15%. Day before Thanksgiving is a usually busy day. That summer vacation cuts business about 10 or 12%. The day after Labor Day is a true whopper, people coming back from vacation. Spring break, the day before spring break, it's busy, people closing out their, getting some money to go to Florida or whatever. And then the first 3 days of the month are really busy. And then the staff payday, the faculty payday variable has changed a lot with us adding new variables. It used to be around 400, now it's only 158. Before holiday and after holiday have changed a bit, but we still see Friday's the busiest day, Monday is busy, Wednesday and Tuesday are about the equally least busy, and June and July are still our busiest months. But we've learned so much from this data by, again, building a nice, simple model to start with, base level plus day of the week plus month of the year effects plus special factors, looking at outliers to add more special factors, and then looking at situations where the sign of the residuals basically doesn't change and including that there. So I think this is a very instructive example.
So thanks for watching. We really hope you're enjoying our Excel videos. And over the next several years, we'll be releasing our complete library of Excel training onto our YouTube channel. But if you don't want to wait for years, then I wanted to talk to you a bit about the master course Dr. Winston has created. It's his life's work, and I wanted to talk to you about the benefits that you can receive from enrolling. The first thing is lifetime access. And lifetime access doesn't just mean you'll have a login forever, it means that you'll get to have access to all of the new content that Dr. Winston creates. So even though the course currently has more than 800 videos, Dr. Winston creates new content all the time. As Excel or as Microsoft, creates new functions and new functionality in Excel, Dr. Winston will create content that you will have access to. And you will also have access to all the new spreadsheets and all of the new videos that Dr. Winston creates. And what this will do is this will help you stay up to date with Excel. Next is there's a 60-day money back guarantee. right? This guarantee is a no questions asked guarantee. So if at any time within the first 60 days you're not completely satisfied, I will personally refund your money. You can email me, ryan@excelwithwayne.com. Also, there's a 50-question exam that you can take upon completion of the course. This will test how well you're retaining the knowledge of the videos. And if you pass that test with 70% or greater, then you'll get a certificate of completion. And the certificate looks like this. And if you look in the bottom left, once you receive a certificate, you can have a job recruiter or an HR manager. They can email us. They can email Dr. Winston, Wayne@excelwithwayne.com, and he will verify that you did in fact complete our course. The challenge with Excel courses is that there's no support, right? Normally you purchase the course and then you're on your own. But what if you have any questions? What if you don't understand things? And the benefit of our private Facebook group is that you don't just have to ask questions about our course, you can ask questions about your day-to-day Excel questions. Our group is called the Excel Mastermind, and you can see here there's more than 1,700 members that are more than happy to answer your questions. And this group is also only for students of Dr. Winston's. So you're going to have very, very, intelligent students, people that have invested in themselves, helping you answer your questions, as well as us. We also monitor the group. So as mentioned before, there's more than 800 videos in the course. There are currently, I believe, 811 videos. But going forward, we're always creating new content. And along with those videos, there's more than 1,500 downloadable Excel files. And the benefit of the downloadable files is that you get the before and the after file. And the benefit of having the after file is that you can follow along, right? And so all the formulas that Dr. Winston creates, you'll be able to download them. Currently there's more than 75 hours of content, but again, going forward, Dr. Winston creates new videos all the time, and so that number is going to keep on increasing. So real quick, let's just talk about some of the issues with online training, and specifically online Excel training. The first one, as mentioned before, is there's no support, right? Like, what happens if you have a question? What happens if you don't understand something about the course? Or what happens if you don't understand something in your day-to-day task? Because no matter what Excel course you purchase, they're not going to solve your exact problem, right? Because you're setting up your spreadsheet, you're in your own way, and things like that. So again, we solve that problem with our private Facebook group. So you can see it here again, the Excel Mastermind group. You can go to it. You won't be able to access it until you become a student, but you can go and you can sort of see, I mean, this is a real group on Facebook. The next issue, which is a pretty big issue with Excel, is that once you purchase most courses, actually all courses that I know of, they're not up to date. And what do I mean by not up to date? So Microsoft in the past 2 years, and really in the past 6 months, but let's use the past 2 years, they've really, really updated Excel. And they've added a ton of new functions and a ton of new functionality. And so if the courses are not adding new content as Excel or as Microsoft is releasing content, then you're really going to be left behind. So as you can see here, these are just a few of the functions that Microsoft has recently released. The MinFS, the MaxFS, XLOOKUP, which is probably the #1 new function in Excel because it replaces the VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP and index match. The unique function, the filter function, sort, stock history, and then stock data types, geography data types, switch, ifs, etc. There's new charting functionality. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so again, if you're purchasing a course that is not staying up to date, then you're really going to be left behind. And what I mean by left behind is that you're not going to be as efficient in your spreadsheet tasks that you could be. Finally, it's the quality of the professor. And so this is where I want to talk a little bit about Dr. Winston. So the first thing you could do is just go over to Google and type in Wayne Winston. And you can see over here on the right side his Wikipedia page. You can see he went to MIT. You can see some of the books he made. You can go to Amazon, or you can go to, Kelly, which is the Kelly School of Business at Indiana University. You can go to his LinkedIn page. I mean, there's a lot of places you can go to just to see about Dr. Winston. Who is he? Another thing you could do is you could search for his books. Just go to Wayne Winston books and look at images. But you can see Microsoft's book 2019, 2016, 2010. I believe it goes back all the way to 2003, but I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure, but not 100% on that. So the main book that Dr. Winston has written is his 2019 book. When I say the main book, the most popular book, I mean, all of his books are very popular, but this is his most popular one, as you can see here based on the reviews. And this is the book that Microsoft has asked Dr. Winston to write. And this is Microsoft's best selling Excel book on the topic. His second popular book is called Marketing Analytics. And you can see again, there's very good reviews on this. You can go to Amazon and you can see the reviews. And I would say go to Amazon and look at the bad reviews, because the bad reviews are talking about the shipping, like the book was messed up in shipping, or it doesn't include the downloadable files, but it actually does. They just didn't know how to find it. But this book covers all things marketing analytics. And his other book here is Analytic Stories. And this is a very interesting book, because what Dr. Winston does with this is he solves real world problems using Excel and using analytics to show, some interesting things that have happened historically, and proving them, with Excel and with statistics in Excel. So instead of talking about the books that Dr. Winston has written, maybe the best thing to do, since Excel is a business tool, the number one business tool in the world, what about business schools? Very popular business schools. Like, so who trust him? Like, what are the top business schools in the world? So let's go to the first one, which would be Harvard here. And what you can see is they asked him to create their course. You can see on the one, two, three, the fourth link, you can see that in 2013, that is the spreadsheet course. I do believe there is a 2016 course, but I'm not 100%. Um, and so, yeah, they're using his books, Mathematics for Management. They're using his data analysis books in his courses and things like that. So Harvard's using him, but let's just look at some other schools, right? So the next one would be MIT. And you can see the syllabus of MIT is using his operations research book. You can see MIT OpenCourseWare is using his stuff, and the list goes on and on. But let's keep going. Let's not stop there, right? So Stanford is using his stuff. And I'm going to go a little bit faster just because there are a lot of universities here. So Stanford, right? You can see Wharton, which is a really popular finance school. If you're not familiar with it, has used this stuff, at least a couple years ago they did. And then you have Columbia in New York is using his books. NYU, also in New York, is using his material. You could go to Yale. And here's an interesting one, because this is IIT, which is in India, and it's the number one school in India. It's apparently the hardest university in the world to get into, because like everybody applies to it, and it has a very, very low acceptance rate. But again, you can see they're using his book. And also here, this is the Indian Institute of Management, which is the number one business school in India. And you can see again, they're all using his content. And this is a school in China. It's SEABS, and this is the number one business school in Asia, I believe. And they're also using his content. And then finally in Europe, INSEAD, which I am not 100%. I think it's in Switzerland. I could be wrong. But again, they are all using his book. So essentially, the number one business school in every country is using his book. In America, the top 10 or top 5 are using his books. And so Excel is a business software. Business schools are using his content. And so they all trust him, right? And the biggest sign of trust is that they're using his materials to teach their professors how to teach the subject of Excel, right? And also advanced analytics. Also, sort of on the just like a fun note about Dr. Winston is that he was also a two-time Jeopardy champion. And you can Google that. You can go to YouTube and you can watch him answer the questions. It's actually pretty funny. And so in his courses, he does add a lot of trivia, and that's sort of makes it a little bit fun, because we all know it's Excel, right? Like, how fun can Excel really be? So yeah, so that's some of the things I wanted to talk to you about. If you have any questions, just let us know. But if you did want to go and you wanted to invest in yourself, then you could go to excelwithwayne.com/course. And also, when you get to the site, if you just scroll down a bit, then you can see the syllabus here. And if you click on any of those syllabi, you will then be able to see the exact materials in that course. Because I'll go back one here, but you're not just getting one course, you're getting 4 courses. The top left one here, the complete Microsoft Excel course, that is from his book that he's been writing for Microsoft. And the marketing analytics book is from his marketing analytics book, or sorry, his marketing analytics course is from his marketing analytics book. And then his analytics stories course is from his analytics stories book. And then the Monte Carlo simulation with Palisades That is a very advanced course, and you would need the at risk. You get the course, but you would need at risk the add in to to be able to follow along to that. I mean, you could still, of course, watch the videos. It's just to follow along, you need to purchase the add-in. It is not included in the course. But again, if you click on any of the syllabi there, you would see something like this. And then if you click, the plus sign on any of the chapters, you would see every video that is included inside of that. So let's talk about the price of the course, right? So with Dr. Winston, let's step back. So let's talk about the price of an MBA. So this is where Dr. Winston teaches. And if you were to purchase this course, it's the equivalent of probably 4 MBA courses. And I can tell you this because I'm an MBA alumni of Dr. Winston's. And this is where he taught. He's retired, but you can see the prices here. And the price of the course is $397 for lifetime access. And what you will get with that is, again, everything we just talked about. And so you can compare the prices because it's essentially you're getting 4 college courses, which is 12 hours of college credit, and an MBA is about 48 hours. So you're essentially getting 1/4 of an MBA from watching the content of Dr. Winston. And so finally, that's it. That's the pitch. And so if you have any questions, just let us know. Email us anytime, and you can email us at info@excelwithwayne.com. And yeah, thanks for watching, and really hope to see you in class.